Welcome to this week's edition of Travel Tips. Today we're going to be talking about booking hostels all around the world, something that you're going to have to do if you want to travel super cheaply. We're also going to be talking about couch surfing.
Yeah, we're going to go into a lot of detail on these things to really, because especially for us, the first time we were booking hostels and couch surfing, it was kind of intimidating, and you don't want to make a wrong move and book a terrible hostel or, stay with some creep on couch surfing. So we really want to go into detail and show you specifically down to the very last detail how to do it.
Yep. So our favorite hostel site is called Hostel World. So Matthew's going to pick up. Matthew's going to be doing the mobile version. I'm going to be doing the desktop version. And personally, I think the desktop version is always better when you're trying to book travel, just because everything is spread out, easy to see, and there are oftentimes way more options.
It's true, but the Hostel World app is actually very, very good.
Yep.
So I haven't had no issues with it.
All right, so let's say we want to go to where? How about Bled, Slovenia?
I love it.
Let's go to Bled, Slovenia. And let's go in September.
Yeah.
We'll go September 18th, and then we'll check out September 21st.
Oh, that's a quick stay.
Yeah, it's a quick stay. One guest. You click search, and when it first pops up, it will not sort it by exactly what you want, so I always go sort it by price. And you can see they have dorm rooms from $13.88 all the way up to $70 a night, which is basically a hotel room. You get your own private room, it looks like. So down here at the bottom, the 1A Adventure Hostel in Lake Bled. Is that where we stayed? Where did we stay?
We stayed at Bled Hostel there.
We stayed at Bled Hostel, which is $17 a night in this particular time, although it was much cheaper when we went, wasn't it?
It was much cheaper when we went, but we were also there in December and it was freezing and there was no one there. So September, it'll be a little warmer. And I imagine there'll be more people there, so it'll be more expensive. But in December, you should be able to get anywhere for very, very cheap because nobody's there. It's really cold, but still really beautiful and worth it.
But it wasn't cold enough to where it was miserable outside.
No,
we still walked around, went on hikes and stuff. So let's click on Bled Hostel since we've been there.
Yep.
And they've got this whole page dedicated to this one hostel. It'll show you pictures. It's a really nice little hostel.
It is. It's right above a pub.
Yeah, beds are comfortable. It's got a kitchen. It's got a entertainment room where
full kitchen, oven, everything. I cooked some frozen pizzas. It was great.
Nice. And then below they've got some foosball and some darts.
And they actually have Xbox. We played some Xbox.
Yeah, they've got an Xbox. And sadly, that's not a picture of us, although it should have been. And it'll show you just the description and everything. So, 66 beds, and it'll show you, one 4-bed dorm with its own bathroom. It'll show you all the different stuff: amenities, location, entertainment. Then you'll scroll down a little bit, and it'll show you the prices for all the different bedrooms.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the main thing is I just look at the bars on the app. It'll show you these bars, and have a rating for each thing. As you see, the location is a 9.8. The staff was 9.7. We barely saw them, so I'm calling that a good staff. If they're not all up in your business, that's nice, but they're still keeping everything clean. The value for money, again, 9.3, obviously, because you get a full kitchen for relatively cheaply every night. Security, I mean, yeah, you did need your card to get in and out, so that's always nice, security-wise. And so definitely look at these bars, and generally you'll be able to see, what is good and what is bad. Cleanliness is a big one. I got bit by bed bugs one night in Barcelona because the cleanliness in the hostel was very low. So make sure you look at that.
Yeah, and then if you scroll down a little bit more, it'll have all the little things included in the facilities. So free city maps, internet access, free parking, Wi-Fi, linens included, Some linens are not included and you have to rent them. So that's a big plus, is having linens included. They've got barbecue, bicycle parking, security lockers, wheelchair friendly. They've got a bar right downstairs, board games, game rooms, PlayStation. PlayStation is actually Xbox, right?
It was Xbox. Yeah. It also says jobs board, which could be relevant if you're like trying to move there or you want to stay there for the summer. It clearly means they'll let you stay for a while you look for a job or whatever. So, you know, if you're trying to live somewhere for a summer or for a few months or something, you know, that's something to look at.
And it'll show their policies, like credit cards are not accepted, although I'm pretty sure we paid with a credit card.
I'm not sure actually, but even if it's not, there's a grocery store literally 50 feet away, a pretty good grocery store with an ATM, so it doesn't matter.
No curfew, non-smoking, taxes not included, but taxes are, it's 127 a night, euros. And then the biggest thing is the reviews.
Yeah.
So you can sort these reviews by newest, top rated. The newest is always the best way to go.
I would always do lowest rated first, just to see what people said first, and then I would go with newest. I would never look at the highest rated, because some people, you don't know if, you know, hostels are gonna plant things in there to make their hostel look good. So I always go lowest rated and then newest.
So for this particular hostel, its lowest rating is a 4.6, but that was back in July of 2015. Let's see if it has any low ratings recently. Doesn't look like it has any low ratings recently.
No, it doesn't. The lowest was 8.9 that I'm seeing, and that's still very, very good.
Yeah. So
yeah,
the newest,
7.7.
you can also do it by age group, which is interesting. I don't know exactly how that works. How does that work? Huh. Oh, so it sorts at 18 to 24. Okay, is the first bunch, and then okay, it's gonna be mostly 18 for 24.
And that's important to look at, especially if you're like a solo girl looking at these things, because you definitely want to feel safe at places. So you want to look for, you know, a female around your age who's maybe staying alone, and see what they said about the safety of it, and whether or not, you know, they felt safe staying there.
So that is Hostel World. It's super simple. One thing I will say about Hostel World is we do not condone the diva-proof Mariah Carey bullcrap that they've now put on their website.
Sure.
It drives me nuts, and I can't believe Mariah Carey is associated with Hostel World.
So we're searching through them, but we're trying not to book through them anymore, because we're not looking for a hostel because we're divas. We're looking for a hostel because we want somewhere that's cheap and comfortable.
Oh.
And, it's the complete opposite of what a hostel experience should be if you're trying to diva-proof your hostel traveling.
It's ridiculous. And since me and Matthew have been traveling, they've added free cancellation, which they had at a few hostels before, but now it's pretty much site-wide, which is nice, because we used to research on Hostel World and then go over to booking.com to book, because they have free cancellation up to 48 hours before you arrive, which is amazing. And so now we're actually gonna transition over to booking.com, because sometimes you can't find hostels in certain cities and certain countries. So you have to go over to booking.com.
This was the case in Dubrovnik, Croatia, which we recommend highly, but we couldn't find a hostel. We hopped on over there, and we'll search that now on Booking.
Let's go to Dubrovnik. Set our check-in time for, we'll go October 16th. We'll check out on the 20th, and it'll be, we're just gonna do one adult, search for one adult. And yeah, so booking.com will show hostels, hotels, bed and breakfast, guest houses. It'll show everything. So Hostel World will pretty much only show hostels, which is a great way to narrow down which hostels you want. And then if you can always come and search on Booking, and if you can get it for cheaper, book it on Booking. And you just have to search for the name of the hostel, which is nice.
Yeah, and you can also, it'll show you on Booking, it'll show you the cumulative amount of the stay, not per night. which I actually like better, because then you can see exactly what kind of damage it'll do, and you don't have, you know, fees that may be hidden on Hostel World that they're not including.
Yep. And so the cheapest place to stay in Dubrovnik for the dates that we selected is Anchi Guest House. Is that what you're getting?
I'm looking at Guest House Cuba, which is odd because
Guest House Cuba. That's the deal of the day. That's the deal of the day. So it'll have a deal of the day at the top normally.
yeah, Anchi Guest House.
Anchi Guest House, $63 for 4 nights. That's pretty good
very,
for
very
Dubrovnik.
good. That's
15
very
bucks a
good.
night is not too bad, and it looks like a decent hostel. It's got 8.4 reviews, which is solid. You can look at all the photos, and it looks like a very pleasant, normal, typical guest house. It even has a little couch in the dorm rooms. That's awesome. It's got AC. That's nice.
Yeah, there are a lot of hostels showing up on Booking. Again, you got to remember that some hostels are seasonal. So we went to Dubrovnik in late December, so it was more likely that there were fewer hostels that were still accepting guests. Most of them probably shut down for the winter. So that was probably why we couldn't find many, and we had to stay in a slightly more expensive place. So just keep that in mind. You may, you know, look in August at a place and be like, oh, that's great, and then try to go in December and that place may not be there. So always try to have, you know, a backup in mind, and search out where you're staying.
The best thing about Booking.com is there's no booking or credit card needed when you book the place. So the confirmation is immediate. You don't have to put down a credit card, and you can cancel up to 48 hours before your stay. This one, I believe it's 2 days before. So yeah, 48 hours. And it's in an 8-bed mixed dormitory, and it shows all of the things you get. Towels and sheets, extra fee. See, there's an extra fee for the sheets. Which is why sometimes traveling with a sleeping bag is great, because you don't have to rent that kind of stuff. But then again, traveling with a sleeping bag is super heavy. Then you can see closest landmarks, the airport. You can check out all the reviews here on the left side, what people loved the most. You can click on all 170 reviews. So staff is a 9.1, that's solid. Value is an 8.5, that's pretty good. That pretty much does it for Booking.com. Again, it's a great alternative to Hostel World because it has more options. Sometimes it'll be much more expensive, but every now and then it'll be a little cheaper. So if you can't find something on Hostel World, go over to Booking, and there's a good chance you'll be able to find it.
And Booking is where we found, we stayed in a couple places that were slightly more expensive because we just needed a break on the trip and stay, you know, in a nicer place. And Booking was where I found the cheapest, nicer place. And especially flying into Australia, we flew into Adelaide, and there were very few hostels. We were able to find a very cheap motel, and it helped us out a lot.
So next up, we're going to go over to couch surfing, which is the free way to stay as you travel. And it can be super frustrating to try to find a spot, but in the end, if you do find a spot, you didn't have to pay. You get to meet most likely somebody pretty cool, and you get some local advice for where you should go and what you should see. So let's say we want to go to where?
Let's go to Paris.
Let's go to Paris, France. So we're going to explore in Paris. Local hosts, you can find a host. And there's going to be 185,000 hosts in Paris. Now, mind you, tons of these are not going to be accepting guests. You can click on the filters. You can do last login date within the last 6 months, month, week, 24 hours. Always best to do 24 hours. And always definitely select accepting guests and maybe accepting guests. Because it's a pain in the butt to search for people who haven't logged in in like a week, and they just don't just don't pay any attention to it, and you're not going to get any good responses. But yeah, you've got all these different people that list their couches or their spare rooms on Couchsurfing, which is pretty cool. So we're going to click on the... What should we click on?
No, I liked the first guy.
All right,
Karate guy.
let's do Francois. And he's got 540 photos. That's unbelievable. That is so many. 46 references, 91 friends. That is impressive. And he's verified. This is what you want to look for. If someone's not verified, do not stay with them.
Don't even think about it.
So from Couchsurfers, he's got 38 references, and it looks like they all would stay with him again. Would stay with him again, would stay.
It's 38 out of 46, it looks like.
38 out of 46 would stay?
Yeah.
And
46 references, 38 would stay again.
But 0
Wouldn't.
no, 0, yeah, 0 wouldn't, or neutral or negative.
Right.
Which is interesting. So Francois is the nicest guy in whole Paris.
Whole Paris?
Whole Paris. And all of Paris, the best host that I could find. He's respectful, polite, kind, simple, willing to help in any doubt or situation that has arisen during my trip. He also has his fun part. The English is not always perfect.
Yeah.
On
There's people from all over the
'cause
world.
It's people from all over the world. So that's pretty funny. And then you can check out About. He has a chance to tell his whole story. Dadgum. You can just learn about this guy. You can learn about whoever you're staying with, so that it's far less awkward and you're far less creeped out by the time you get to stay with them. So let's say I want to book with him. I can send a request. I can tell him which dates. So I want to stay for those dates, number of travelers. You introduce yourself, yada yada yada, and then you click send. He gets it and he responds later on. I'll show you some of the interactions I've had with our guests or our hosts.
And we had one guy one time, make sure to interact with them a little bit, because we had one guy who gave us a chance to stay on his boat, but he wanted us to like do a full couple days work on his boat and manual labor type stuff. We were not interested, so make sure to really engage with them and see what kind of they require, because some of them can get a little weird.
Yes. So this is Vincent. He was such a nice guy in Brisbane, and we had great interaction with him. So this is what a message thread looks like on Hostel World or on Couchsurfing. Great guy. And then there's also cool stuff on Couchsurfing where you can see if you can find hosts, find members, find travelers, events, groups, or local advice. So you can just find travelers that you want to meet up with. So let's say you're going to London and you just want to meet up with people. You can search for people who just want to meet up. And it's great. And you can make sure they're verified. And all these people are down to meet up and hang out and get to know you a little bit. So it's pretty cool. For instance, when we were in Iceland, we found 3 women to rent a car with us and travel around Iceland, which was amazing. And lower the cost of our rental car significantly. So those are options when you're there. You can find events. So there are different things happening. Let's see what's happening in Toronto.
Weird.
Well,
Why not?
why is that weird? So there are 48 events. Monday, June 4th, cricket. First Tuesday, all these different CS weekly meetings. So there's Couchsurfing weekly meetings in so many cities. Where just a whole bunch of Couchsurfing members get together and talk and hang out and most likely drink. And you can find all these kinds of
Events.
There's even groups you can join. Say, we'll just type in Iceland. And there are all these different Icelandic trips you can join, or groups you can join. For car sharing, for instance. Just make sure if you do stay with somebody on couchsurfing, you cook them dinner one night, or you buy them a gift when you're leaving, just to show your appreciation for giving you a free place to stay.
Yep, always. That does it for this week's edition of Travel Tips, talking about how to book hostels and hotels and going through the Couchsurfing app. Be sure to follow us on all social media for new videos, new content, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and drop a like on the video. And if you didn't like it, tell us why, tell us what we can do better, tell us your tips for finding hostels and things where you've gone wrong. And subscribe to get alerts about all our newest content. And keep coming back every week for more travel inspiration and wallet preservation here on Back to the Peaceful Sea.
Back to the peaceful sea.